There, that man in the suit, he is the racecourse manager here, Paddy. He won on the Ilala, that's a long time ago, and the Grand National, which we'll be having on Saturday. Sitting down and before you go into a big race, You've slept the last few nights on it, and you're sort of going over the race, and you're thinking about what you're going to do. Now is the time where you have to put it into progress, and you have to just don't worry about how many people who are watching you, and the top jockeys, they get used to it, like Frankie Dettori there. He'll have no nerves whatsoever. We're talking about nerves there. We're nervous.
I was going to say, it would seem, though, like any great athlete, you sense and understand when there's more on the line, when something's very important. Here you're talking about the richest prize in racing, a world championship designation. It's got to make the butterflies a bit bigger.
Oh, sure. You always got a little bit of butterfly, especially when you've got a big prize and you've got a lot of expectant owners and trainers. There's the lads who look after the horses, the stables, the friends. They're all willing you to do the right thing. So it's a little bit more pressure. There's Curry, and he's a lovely little man. I've met him a few times, well, actually in Tokyo I met him. I know he's got the ancestry from there, but that's where I met him.
One of his riding legends that he most admires, he was telling me, Willie, is the great Lafitte Pincay Jr., who's closing in on the record we thought unattainable at one point, 8,833 victories by a good pal of yours, another Willie Shoemaker.
Yeah, Bill, yes. Well, we all wish Bill best of luck. He had so many chances he took in his life, and unfortunately that thing happened in a motor vehicle. We all wish him well. We hope he trains plenty of winners. And there's a man who is a big day for him, the Japanese jockey, and he's riding a mare who has won 12 over 14 races on the dirt. A fantastic record.
Nori Yokoyama, and you can bet he is thinking about not only victory tonight, but he's carrying the hopes of a great racing nation, Japan. They have come on, haven't they?
Haven't they just? They're going to give us a hard time in Europe in the next few years, because they've been buying the best stallions, they've been buying very good mares, they're breeding good horses now, and they've been coming abroad just a little bit recently. They've been coming a little bit further and further afield, and they're doing better all the time.
He's already made some racing history in this young Dubai World Cup, Willie, and that's the first mare to start in the richest race in the world, Hakuto Vega. She was Japan's dirt champion of a year ago. She comes in here off 10 straight victories on the main track, and yet has been plagued by quarter cracks. In fact, an American blacksmith, Todd Boston, has had to do some work just recently on one of the quarter cracks, so some question there, but still, you can't deny her earnings, over $8.3 million. If she should win tonight, Willie, she would jump 700,000 over Cigar. That's right.
That is some record. That is some record. And she's a mare. And most people who retire mares when they're 3-year-old. This is a good advert to keep mares in training, isn't it?
It is, Willie. And I know you're so much more used to this in Europe. Americans are kind of aghast whenever they see a filly or a mare put in against the colts. Much more common in this part of the world.
Yes, well, the fillies, we give them £5 allowance in the sort of allowance races, so we give them 5 because we think we men are better than the fillies.
But we know better, don't we? That's right. Well, I hope you're enjoying some of these shots here. You're getting a feel for the evening here as we build towards the Dubai World Cup, taking you in the jockey's room there where, of course, no one is allowed, to get a sense of what they're going through, and to have one of the great riders of the world, Willie Carson, with us. Willie, I know people would love to get an update on you, and what a tragic way to end their career, getting kicked in the paddock.
Yes, that was very unfortunate, but that just goes with the game. You have accidents being a jockey, and unfortunately I went up to this filly. It was the first time she'd ever ran in her life, and she jumped forward and let me have it. And I ended up in intensive care with ruptured liver. So, and I hadn't been drinking, you know.
What a shame. Well, it is so great to have Willie Carson, of course, joining us here with the international telecast. And again, from around the world, wherever you are, whether it be a good morning, a good afternoon, or a good evening, we're glad you've joined us here for this dramatic moment in thoroughbred racing. Last year, this race, Willie, universally was declared the race of the year. I know it won all the American votes, and I believe in Europe too.
Yes, well, he was such a fantastic horse, Cigar, wasn't he? He came here as a champion, and he left a bigger champion. And I don't know if we haven't really got the same build-up for any of the horses here this year, but he might go away. The horse might go away as big a champion as Cigar did.
And build on that legend from there. Certainly Cigar, when he returned to the States, ended up with a big run, earning just shy of $10 million, which was an incredible effort and still holds the world
and we
record.
still might see him back, you know.
There is a chance. You're right there. It really is.
We might see him back on the track.
You never know. We're going to take a look now, a little closer look at some of the stars of the night here as we're set to in the Dubai World Cup, a field of 12 again. We had one that left us, Halicio, the great runner from France, the Arc de Triomphe winner, not going here. Let's take a look, though, at some of our big horses we're getting ready to take a look at throughout the night here. And we'll start in just alphabetical order, really, so you can take a look at some of the activity here. Some of the activity leading up to the race here. Bijou Down was the first, and Even Top, another from England, the stakes winner at York. Welcome Flemensfirth to the fray, winner of his last 3 races, including an outstanding effort in his last coming from John Gosden's stable. This is Formal Goal, one of the American 3.
Now, this is the horse the bookmaker's been talking about him because they're backing this horse.
They've dropped him to 4-1. He was the winner of the Don Handicap in America, beating a champion skipway. Here is Halicio, who's withdrawn from this race, declared the 3-year-old of Europe last year, their champion, Arc winner by 5. Now, of course, from Australia, down under, with the hood on, this is Juggler, a consistent graded stakes winner.
Yeah, Gelding.
Acute Vega, that is the mare.
That's the mare. She's got her hood on. She might have been a bit cold in Dubai.
Now let's go down under. There is Juggler from Australia.
Gelding.
Consistent graded stakes runner from Gay Waterhouse, an outstanding trainer known as the Queen of Australia. Now from the local team, Kamtara, carrying the hopes of our host in the United Arab Emirates. Winner of his last 2 outs on this course by a combined 6 lengths, Kamtara. And there is Kieran McLaughlin with his stable star, Key of Luck, 20-length winner of last year's Dubai Duty Free, steps up to the World Cup field for the UAE today. Lusso, and you're kind of keeping an eye on him for trainer Clive Britton.
Yeah, we got a friend. Clive's a friend of mine, and this horse, he stays the 1.5 miles well, and he'll handle this ground.
Now from the United States, that big white blaze, long legs, that is Sandpit, Brazilian bred from the U.S., winner of almost $3 million.
And good looking, isn't he?
Singspale, you fancy him a bit,
I fancy him a lot. I fancy him. He's been here 11 weeks, so he's got used to the ground, and he's got the form.
America's turf champion, but never raced in America. Here is Siphon, America's greatest hope, our race favorite, winner of the $1 million Santa Anita Handicap. He'll make the running tonight.
He'll come out of the stalls with his wheels blazing.
Well, there they are. It is now 12, and this is the prize of the Dubai World Cup from Garage Jewelers, the Crown Jewelers of England. And that is what the men are looking up at, too, in the room. They're thinking
Jason
about that
Weaver,
prize.
the Jason Weaver. They're looking at replays of the races that they've seen already this evening. And, oh, it's not. That looks as though it's on the turf. It looks like Ascot.
They're shielding a bit of a signal from somewhere else.
That was from Ascot, that was.
That's right. Taking a look there. Well, joining us again, Mike Dillon from Ladbrokes, who makes the prices for the big race back in the UK and around the world. Mike joining us here, and well, it's time now to put those figures to the test. Well done, by the way. Of course, our duty-free race. Tamid, of course, the favorite. Tommy, as you fancied as well.
Yeah, Tamaez. I mean, I think the pacemaker, having won the earlier race by 7 lengths, was the key. And if I'd have had a chance to do the prices after the trial race, he wouldn't have been 7-2. But it was a very good win, a very exciting race. But again, it augurs well for Godolphin, because Kamtara is another horse that works behind that lead horse, or goes past him, actually. Right. So, I mean, I think the Godolphin team will be very excited now about Kamtara in this wonderful race. But this is a fascinating race, because do you go for the dirt horses, the professional dirt horses from America, who do it as Santa Anita on the dirt day in, day out, or do you go from champions like the Japan Cup winner? You know, and it's an interesting conundrum for me, but I've gone with the dirt horses. I've filled the betting with the first 3 from America because they're professional dirt horses. So,
Let's take a look at the numbers then. Mike, run them down for us here as we'll go in program order.
Right, even top, a horse from England, 33 to 1, one of the outsiders. Singspiel, the Japan Cup winner, 13 to 2 or 6.5 to 1. Formal Goal from the States, ran a terrific race in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year, disappointing last time, but has been come back to form, 9 to 2 or 4.5 to 1.
Right, now he was, I think, in the opening line, was it 6?
Yeah, there's been a lot of money for him, Chris.
Right.
He's been probably one of the best-backed horses of the whole race. Flemansfirth from John Gosden in England, 9 to 1.
Yeah. And now, since he stepped on this course for the very first time, everybody's talked about him. He's a magnificent looking animal. People like him here.
He is, yeah, and he's a horse that'll be well suited by the conditions he finds underfoot today. And I think the reason people started backing him, he did some work here early one morning with Helisio, and he beat Helisio very easily, beat him by 5 or 6 lengths, and Helisio was struggling to get to him. I think that made the money come for Flemansfirth, but I also think it made Helisio get the plane home.
How about from our friends in Japan, any hope for the mare who's won over $8 million?
Well, I mean, she's won 10 from 10, so you must give her a chance, although she's never raced in this company before. She's one of the outsiders at 20 to 1, as is Juggler, the gelding from Australia, 33 to 1. Siphon is my favourite at 5 to 2.
And he'll make the running.
He'll make the running, yeah. It's a hard thing to make the running here a mile and a quarter, but he's a big, strong horse, as Willie Carson said, and he deserves to be favourite 5 to 2. It was a good performance in the big cap at Santa Anita.
Absolutely.
Kamtara, the local hope of Godolphin, 8 to 1, carrying the same colours as that famous Lamtara, and he's a half-brother to Lamtara. Sandpit, another American hope, second favourite at 7 to 2. Did he come too wide at Santa Anita? Was he given too much to do? I see him being ridden a lot closer to the pace today. Key of Luck, the horse that won the duty-free race last year in a faster time than Cigar, 14 to 1. He's been off since injury and has only had one race since May, so one of the outsiders. The absolute outsider, and ironically, the highest rated horse in the field, Bijou Dond. That rating comes from the turf, 40 to 1. And Luso, the horse that Willie Carson fancies, 25 to 1. Again, if I had the chance now, I'd shorten that horse because of the great run of Needle Gun in the previous race. But a fascinating race. The first 3 in the betting, all American, 5 to 2 Siphon, 7 to 2 Sandpit, 9 to 2 Formal Goal, followed by the Japan Cup winner Singspiel, 8 to 1 Kamtara, 9 to 1 Flemansfirth, and 14 to 1 Barthos. Fantastic race, Chris.
Well done, Mike. Thank you much. Those are the prices from Ladbrokes, of course. Those are the folks who are going to be worrying about that up in the UK and around the world. But, Willie, here, it's the purity of the sport. It's just fabulous.
Well, we're in for something special, aren't we? This is really special. I know it's an expensive race. There's a lot to play for, but I've just been watching the horses go past me. Some of these horses are absolutely beautiful.
And it underscores again Sheikh Mohammed's impression of the horse, his love for this horse. That's why there was absolutely no question Saturday night. They made the right decision. He would take no chance with animals this valuable.
I hope he enjoys it. I hope he wins the race with Singspiel for his troubles.
We've talked about Singspiel, Willie, and to me he is the United Nations horse. Singspiel, bred in Ireland, owned by Sheikh Mohammed, trained by England's Michael Stout, ridden by American champion Jerry Bailey, winner in Japan, winner in Canada, and the United States turf champion. What better horse could we have for a World Cup winner?
Really international, isn't he?
Oh, he is
well,
indeed.
Talking about, we've got 3 US horses, 2 Great Britain, 2 from Ireland, 2 from Brazil, 1 Canadian, 1 Japanese, and 1 Australian. And that's where the horses were all bred.
I know the Australian trainer Gay Waterhouse, who went back, in fact, won $1 million race this past weekend in Australia, was not able to return, but she might have said it best. As she set this moment up and had Juggler in it, she said, I came here because this is as close as we get to our Olympics. And she's so right.
Yes, it is. It's like the well named. It's a world championship, and it's all these good horses all meeting. This is going to be a fantastic race, absolutely fantastic race.
Flemansfirth, Akito Vega, the mare from Japan, Juggler from Australia, Siphon who'll make the running and the race favorite. Then you see Kamtara, Sandpit, Key of Luck, Bijou Dan, Luso, and your friend Clive Britton. I tell you, over in the States, we don't trust this man. He comes with horses that seem to have no hope, and he always goes away with great prizes. First British trader to win a Breeders' Cup, first to win a Japan Cup, maybe tonight, the Dubai World Cup.
Well, I hope he'll be placed anyway if he doesn't win. But I hope he runs a big race. It'll make everybody happy.
Looking down the field here, and a good look at our jocks as well. As you see, Richard Hills has been their champion jockey here. This is Even Top, bred in Ireland, placed in 3 Group 1 races last year, making his first run this year. The 2 is Singspiel, the one we talked about, the United Nations horse. America's champion Jerry Bailey left here on Saturday night, returned to ride Singspiel. That's how much he thinks of his hope. Jerry got the Golden Whip last year. Will he'd like that Mercedes this year?
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would.
Our first American horse is the 3 Formal Gold, and he's gotten a lot of fans here who like the way he's looked on the track.
Yes, but he's got a long way to make up on his last run when he ran over in Santa Anita. He was beaten, was it 9 lengths from Siphon? So I would have said that's a little bit too much to make up.
Unraced at 2, then won his first 4 starts at 3 by 35+ lengths, won the Grade 1 Don Handicap, and then disappointing run at Santa Anita. Had all kinds of problems shipping out from the east to the west coast in the States, was not himself. We leave a gap for Helicio, the French horse, the Arc winner, has returned, gone home. A bit out of order here, but there is Siphon, the race favorite, the big horse, the 6-year-old, bred in Brazil, the Santa Anita Handicap winner, and probably the best hope for America.
Well, he's a front runner. He's going to be coming out the stalls, and the low numbers in the duty-free showed up very well in the early paces. So I should think this horse will have no trouble there. And he's a Group 1 winner. There is only 3 in the race who have just won Group 1 races, and he is one of them. And he's won $1.7 million.
Quick shot of Flemings with a moment ago, and there with the hood. The Japanese just love to put those hoods on their horses. That is the mare, the Kudo Vega. There's no richer mare in the history of the sport. 8.3 million. Incredible.
That is fantastic. She's 7 years of age, and what a fantastic mare she must be. And there we have Juggler. Now this fella, when he comes out of his box, he sticks his head up just like an Australian, and he said, "G'day, mate," you know, and he comes out there and shrugs his shoulders, and he's like the gunslinger, you know, he's sort of a tough guy. He's
the local
real
hope,
tough.
Kamtara, and of course the rider Frankie Dettori has already won 2 tonight, and there is the big horse, Sandpit. They'd love to take him back to the Grand National in Aintree. They love the looks of him.
He's beautiful, this horse. He's big and beautiful. He's won $3 million. That's Key of Luck.
Almost black Key of Luck, solid color. Of course, the 20-length winner of the Dubai Duty Free last year, moving up to the big race this year, and Kieran McLaughlin has had success already. And there for Clive Britton, Lusso.
Lusso, the big horse. Now, he is a giant of a horse. We've got 3 horses that have to have extra straps put on the back of the stalls to get them in because they're so big. The stalls are too small for them. That is the 2 American horses and Lusso.
Right,
Siphon and Sandpit. So they're big horses.
Bijouden, you take a look there, rated Europe's champion 3-year-old colt.
A Group 1 winner as well, Bijouden. He's one of the Group 1 winners, but he's ran here and very much disappointed. Key of Luck there, lovely black horse with his trainer on his outside there.
Carlos Arias is up.
Not.
U.S. native, was ridden his last 4 years here in Dubai for top trainer Kieran McLaughlin.
Well, it looks as though they're going to parade down in front of the stands. This sometimes can upset horses when they have to parade, because when you get down to the cheaper areas, start people shouting and screaming, and it's not a good thing for the horses, because it just, you know, it gets their adrenaline going as well. You know, they can get a little bit boily.
Even Top there, as you see, as he makes his way in a little walk down the
Second in
track.
our 2,000 guineas. He's a very tough type of horse. He's very cold. There's Singspiel.
Carrying Benny Bodner's colors for trainer Mark Tompkins.
Formal Gold there with his pony. The European horses don't have ponies, you notice that? The
Right.
American horses always have a pony. Sometimes it's very good in this sort of situation, a pony, because it gives the horse something to look at and to nibble and mane of the pony. You know, it keeps their mind off the job.
Right. So here they come. Some of the greatest thoroughbreds in the world, who all total combined, the 12 that run tonight, have won 90 stakes races. They have earned in total over $21 million. And tonight, they run for the richest prize in all of racing, $2.4 million at 1.25 miles of a $4 million purse. But there aren't many bad prizes here, paying all the way down to 6th places.
Yes, even if you finish 6th, you get $80,000. which is a lovely prize, isn't it? To run 6, it's consolation, isn't it? When
It
you
is
run
indeed.
6, you're disappointed, but you still get paid.
Exactly. Willie,
Bijou
from a rider's standpoint now, what are you doing here? What are you trying to communicate with your horse? How important is the warm-up session?
Well, you're really actually trying to get your horse warmed up as quietly as you can. The European people, we like to canter the horses down and get them warmed up that way and then walk round at the start. But really what you're doing is to look after them, try and reserve energy. Keep their energy inside them. That's the Japanese.
Let's take us around the course here, Willie.
Say that again, please.
Aerial shots of our helicopter above Mount Altitude, laid down below the 11 furlong test.
What's happening? What's happening? Well, welcome to the BBC viewers. It's back in now Shariba. It's a lovely evening here, and we're very excited because we've got a fantastic horse race for you to see. And we're really excited, and this is going to be a marvelous, marvelous race. And we have on the picture now Singspiel. Now, he's been here for 11 weeks, Singspiel, and he's got used to the dirt. He's won his Group 1 races, and he actually did very well in Japan when he won the Japan Cup after he's second in the Breeders' Cup. He has a very, very big chance. Michael Stout is very, very confident he's going to win this race. And as you can see, under the lights here at Now Shariba, a marvelous sight under these lights because we've got lovely temperature and we're going to have a marvelous, marvelous race. Right, Chris.
With Willie Carson as we take a look from our helicopter camera as they start behind the gate here. $4 million at stake, 1.25 miles. One of America's big hopes. The 10, bred in Brazil, Sanpit, just going by the camera there. And there you see.
Sheikh Hamdan. That's the man I used to ride for.
And rode so well for, of course, Shadwell, well known in the States. As they circle behind the gate, 1.25 miles, again, they'll come out of the gate, about a half-mile run to the first turn. Turn left, you see the royal box there. Sheikh Maktoum in the gray dish dash there. In between him, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Zayed, who's the son of the ruler of the United Arab Emirates, and then right next to him was Sheikh Mohammed. Looking down from above, Clemens Firth of John Gosden stable, carrying the colors of Sheikh Mohammed, those very familiar burgundy with the white star. He'll be some fun to follow in this night, a star in the desert night as we look down from below. Now the man who will be calling the world's richest race with the biggest prize of $2.4 million. Let's take you to the top of the stands at Nad Al Sheba and our race caller, Des Scarhill.
Well, the runner's just walking around behind the stalls, and there's one of the major fancied ones. It's Siphon, one of two from Richard Mandela, who's got the enviable situation of having two of the favourites in this race, the other one being Sandpit, and that's David Flores there on this brilliant, brilliant animal who has such a record of recent weeks. It's not surprising it'll go off favourite. Interesting to know how this may handle. It runs up with the pace, and a lot of people talking about the long straight here, but in the earlier races, horses that have been up with the pace have been able to keep going nicely. That's Bijou Dawn and Jason Weaver, one of the British entries here, as the runners just being brought up now, the first being loaded up for the richest horse race in the world, $2.4 million to the winner, and 90 stakes race winners in this field, and $21 million have been won by this field. A class field, despite the absence of Helicio, and of course last year's tremendous race with Cigar and Soul of the Matter. I'm wondering if we can have as exciting a contest here this evening. Expectancy high here as the crowd wait in anticipation. Right down here below in front of me, the rails are stacked 20 deep as people look for a vantage point to watch this, and the opening ceremony was certainly something else here just before the duty-free race. It was an absolute spectacular extravaganza. Great pageantry, and the crowd really built up to these two big races. The duty-free just before it, won by Casban, and now won by Tamaez, one of two winners for Frankie Dettori. And there's just being loaded up. We see Juggler, who's come a long way, and so too has the Australian one. They're just going in as Kamtara. Willie, what about Frankie's chances of landing another huge prize?
Well, I would think he's got it all to do on Kamtara, but they say that this horse has gone to actually working really well on this dirt. He's taken to it so well, but I cannot see him winning. The ones that we have to beat is Siphon, who's going to go and make the running out to the 10 draw. Sandpit's going to be not far behind him, and Key of Luck is going to take Siphon on early. So we're going to have a very, very fast run race.
Well, there's that animal you spoke earlier of. You love this one, Sandpit.
Oh, he's a giant of a horse. He's beautiful. He's actually a beautiful horse. He's a beautiful big horse. And there's 3 horses in the race that have to have extra straps put on the back of the stalls, because these stalls here are not big enough. They're the English type stalls, are not big enough for those the 2 Americans, Siphon, Sandpit, and our Lusso. So they're having straps put on to accommodate them.
And they're the last 3, not surprisingly, to go in. Lusso will be ridden by Michael Kinnan for Clive Britton. Even Top and Mark Tompkins, that one already well installed, and Flemingsfoot, John Gosden's, and of course the big fancy with the recent form behind him has to be Sing Spiel, the winner of the Japan Cup, beating Helicio, and since then a great second in the Breeders' Cup to Pilsudski. And there's the
Sandpit. Now, he's done this before. It's in the records that he's a bit funny to go in the stalls. So this is usual for him to do this.
Well, it'd be an absolute tragedy if he didn't go in.
Oh,
big and
it would
honest
be.
He is.
But they've got the hood to come. They've put the hood on him, and I'm sure he'll go in. But he's a very big horse, and I would think he doesn't want to go in because he doesn't think there's enough room. These horses in America, their stalls over there are much wider, so it's difficult for the horse to be, when you produce him at the stalls, he's looking into a very narrow gap and he doesn't really want to go in, and that's the reason.
Well, there are a few others
Well, there he's in
still
now.
out the
There we
back.
are.
Well,
And-
that's good.
Oh, they haven't got that strap. They said they had a special strap for him.
Well-
Anyway, there he's in. He's in.
That's the important
Oh,
thing.
and he's gone.
He's out the front.
Oh my goodness, I'm glad they didn't let him go. Oh, that's good. That could have been tragic for the whole race. Him getting loose. Marvellous. They didn't let him go. Well done. Right. Yeah, well, they're going to ask him to go in on his own again.
Well, there's still quite a few.